Good morning. Thank you for joining us at the Aesthetic AF podcast. We are really looking forward to having a conversation today with Stephanie Simkins. She is joining us from Montana to chat all things numbers, which is, of course, super critical. So thank you, Stephanie, for joining us.
Yes, no, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. This has been on the books for a while now. Yeah, so a little bit about myself is I am the owner of Harper Faye Financial. So we're like a boutique bookkeeping and advisory firm. We just naturally niche down to aesthetic practices. I spent many years in private wealth, and there was one thing that always came up when we were meeting with other business owners. It was, okay, you're doing so well, we need to see your financials for your business. And most business owners would be like, I'll get back to you on that. So I saw this huge need and a lack of support when it came to bookkeeping and all of that type of stuff. And so I dove in head first 2 years ago, and my husband was like, you're starting a bookkeeping firm? And I said, trust me, it's going to do good. It's going to be a little rocky from here and there, but at the end of the day, your financials, every business owner has it. I don't care how small, how big, everybody has finances, and it's a foreign language to most folks. So hence Harper and Faye.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So why aesthetics now?
Yeah, so some of my first few clients were actually aesthetic practices or like small estheticians, and I just kept seeing this common theme where they're highly educated, they're really great at their craft, but when it came to the business side and like understanding their numbers and QuickBooks and all of that type of stuff, they were lost and they didn't even know where to start. And also they just didn't have the time or energy to put into it. And so I was just like, these women are amazing and I just am drawn to them. And so I just started promoting myself to other aesthetic firms, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we often see Medspa owners are really good at what they do and how they do it, but then it's that business side and the number side that's, okay, that's over there and I'll get to it eventually, but here's what I love to do. So I love that you're a resource for that.
Yeah, it's so critical. I love it. I love it as well. I think my first question then comes almost right out of that is, what is the biggest mistake you see those early med spas doing? So those early aesthetic practices that are like under 3 years or coming up on 3 years, what do you see that looking like specifically?
Yeah, so there's kind of two common themes that I see right out of the gate. Number one, it's going to be that everybody thinks that your bookkeeping and your financials are for strictly tax purposes only. Mm-hmm. And that could be farther from the truth. Yes, you need accurate financials to file your taxes. Of course, that's important. But you should be looking at your financials on a monthly basis and like looking to see what's working, what's not working, where is your money coming in, where's your money going, because that can tell you a lot about your business without even looking at your marketing or this or that. You're looking at, okay, what the numbers don't lie. They're going to tell you exactly whether you like it or not. And that's the scary part. And I think that's why a lot of people just push it off is it's scary to look at your numbers. Ooh.
It is.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes, especially in these types of practices, the bottom line revenue for a month can look really good, right? You can have a really decent number that is incoming cash to the business. And sometimes we forget to go back and look at what were our expenses? What were we actually spending out of that money? Is there profit at the end of the day? Is there anything left? Or is it, geez, we made a lot of money and we spent a lot of money? And that's the part I feel like just gets ignored sometimes, or just not wanting to be acknowledged.
Exactly. And a lot of people base how their business is doing by what is in their bank account. And that could be farther from the truth. Yes, you should be monitoring your bank account and making sure that there's funds in there because you do have those expenses that are coming out. So you want to be able to not overdraw your account or anything like that. But you need to be looking at those financials and your cash flow, because a lot of the time people don't realize, oh, I have loans out. Oh, I have payroll liabilities that I need to hit, like, or take care of, I should say. And those might not necessarily also hit your P&L. They're going to be on your balance sheet or like your statement of cash flow. And so it's really like important, very crucial to have somebody on your side who understands the financial piece of it, but can also speak it to you in like layman's terms. And again, it's like a foreign language. We're like, what's a statement of cash flow? I have no idea. What's a chart of accounts? What? Like, I don't know. But it's just, I want to educate. At the end of the day, I want to educate my clients, and just so that they feel confident and okay, I know how my business is doing. I know where I'm kicking booty, or ooh, you know what, I really need to hone it in here, and all of that type of stuff. And again, numbers don't lie. They're going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I think business owner after business owner, we have that conversation. And I think it's finding somebody that you can partner with too, that you can ask the question and not feel. I hear from a lot of business owners often that they feel uncomfortable or like they feel dumb, that they don't know the answer, or they don't, their accountant and their bookkeeper is saying things to them and they don't know what that means, or they're not exactly sure. But finding somebody that you can have that conversation with and that they're going to take the time to educate you and make you feel super comfortable that we're a resource. We're on a team together. I'm working with you to make this easier, goes a really long way. So I think that's probably a huge part of it as well.
No, I couldn't agree more. I always tell people in the aesthetic world, you're coming to a provider and an injector because maybe you have a flaw that you want to fix, and it's scary and you're being vulnerable. The same thing goes for your financials as a business owner. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to do my job and to educate you and to guide you along the way so that you do have that confidence when it comes to running your business. You know where you're going to sit 12 weeks out from now. Are there going to be changes? Yeah. If we had a crystal ball, that would be amazing, but we don't. Life happens, things come up. Oh my gosh, I have to like, sales have tanked, or oh my gosh, I had a provider quit on me. What is that going to look like? All that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I just want to, yeah, be that resource, and like for you to feel comfortable and like safe and know that like it's a zero judgment like zone with me, because we've all been there. It's scary. You're not taught this in school, let alone when you're going through nursing school. They don't have this. They don't teach you any of this business side of things, but just asking for the help. That's the first step.
Yeah. And that stuff is sometimes really hard. So,
oh, yeah, exactly.
So what advice would you have for a Medspa owner that is scaling from maybe being an individual to a larger group or maybe a secondary location?
Yeah, so I like to have you're going to want to create like a custom chart of accounts. So we can go back to that. You can see your numbers and you can point out exactly what is going on in your business. And then this also goes along with creating like a KPI scorecard. You want to be tracking those KPIs to make sure that you're hitting your goals. And maybe if you're not hitting your goals, okay, where is there like a disconnect? Looking at your providers, utilization rate. Are you utilizing all of the space that you have available? And so a lot of people don't think that, oh, that's part of a bookkeeping financial like advisory, but it really truly is, because it's numbers at the end of the day. We're going to be pulling that data from your EMR system to see sales, your providers, cost of goods sold, inventory, all of that type of stuff. And then we're going to compile it into a pretty scorecard that's easy to read, instead of you having to try to like figure out what is all this? Like, I don't even know where to start, where to go. So I think a lot of people don't realize that we're here to help you. And I think that is so important, is you got to start tracking your numbers and like looking at them when you're scaling monthly, if not like bi-weekly. It was so important.
Yeah. Do you have a few examples of KPIs that you recommend Medspa owners keep a pulse on?
Yeah, so you definitely want to keep a provider, or excuse me, I like to break it out by if you have an owner who's in the business. So you want to see what your owner, what is your utilization, what is your revenue per hour, and then also break that out by providers as well. And then you can even go as far as maybe you have like estheticians on your team, so that aesthetic side that's not injecting, but you still want to keep track of that to make sure that everybody's staying in line. So you break it all down based off of who's in your business. So those are some of the KPIs that I like to track. And again, they can go a long way just to see like what's working.
Yeah. Is there a certain point where you're like, so somebody's looking to scale to that second location? Is there a certain point where you're like, okay, this KPI or this thing means you're ready officially? Or is it just kind of case by case?
I mean, it's really going to be case by case, to be totally honest, because no med spa is identical. Everybody's going
Mm-hmm.
to have their own little quirks, and this is what works for them, but it might not work for somebody else based off location, your
Mm-hmm.
clientele. Everything is so different that you really have to customize it. But once you're hitting that, okay, we're at 100%, we're at 95% utilization for our rooms. Like, we don't have the capacity to take on any more clients because our providers are maxed out. They're working all of their hours that they're full. We don't have space. So
Mm-hmm.
once you're like looking at that, that's when you want to maybe potentially start looking at a second location, or if you have the opportunity to expand where you currently are as well. Those are some things that you want to monitor. But again, I don't want to be like, okay, every med spa, once you've hit this KPI, you need to get a second location. Everybody's very unique in their own way, and maybe you're good with that. You don't want a
Mm-hmm.
second location. It's going to be very just what works best for you.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that so much. I think when you're looking at the capacity of services and then you're looking at your pricing structure too, right? Because they have control over what they're charging for what the market will bear in whatever location that they're in, right? So it makes a big
Mm-hmm.
difference that way too. What are the questions that you seem to get on repeat that you're like, I need to talk about this because nobody knows the answer? What's the thing that somebody's like, every meeting you have, you're like, ah, yes, that question again. Hold on, we'll go through it. Is there
Yes.
something specific?
Yeah, so I always get it's not really specific to just like med spas too, but people are just like, am I doing this correctly when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to their bookkeeping? Because a lot of times you have your accounting software. We're just going to use QuickBooks as an example. It's not easy. It's not user friendly. I will be the first person to admit that. And so people get really confused by if their numbers are even accurate, to be totally
Mm-hmm.
honest. I get that question all the time. People are like, can you just look this over to tell me if it's even right? 9 times out of 10, it's wrong. I hate to say it, but it is. I've seen duplicated income for multiple years, and it's just the lack of like knowledge. As far as breaking it down more into the med spa, it's going to be, should I bring on another provider? Do I
Mm-hmm.
have the cash flow to bring that on? That's probably my number one. Can I grow in that sense versus like a second location? That's usually farther down the road. It's more of, can I bring in somebody else in to help me? So again, we're going to be looking at your cash flow statement, your balance sheet. Okay, what do you have coming in? What do you have going out? Are you able to pay them a reasonable salary? Because
Mm-hmm.
once you have employees, it's not just, okay, they have their salary. You have payroll taxes. If you have benefits, there's a lot more expenses that go into it. So just taking a look at that to make sure that it's going to be the right move for your business. So I would say that would be the number one question I get is, can I bring somebody on?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good one. I think we hear that just in discussions in networking groups and places that we are with other people that we've talked to on the podcast. I do think that's a common question is, can I afford to have somebody else in here? And what do I want them or need them to be doing? Figuring out what is that balancing act of getting their book of business full and that they're operational and at capacity too. So yeah, it is pretty critical. What do you think? Is there one? we keep asking you for one specific, and really the answer is like there's 10,000 answers to those, right? But what piece of advice would you have to med spa owners in general about their bookkeeping? What is the, if you could just dust it out to every single med spa owner that they now know this piece of information, is there something specific that jumps to mind?
We talked about it briefly, but it's don't be afraid to ask. Even if you feel like, okay, I'm confident enough that I think I could handle this. Maybe I'm not ready to outsource, but I have questions. Reach out. I am more than happy, and I know there's other bookkeepers out there too, not just myself, would love to just hop on a quick call and let's look over your numbers. Okay, what you're doing is correct. Here's some ways that you can tweak and improve. So I think that is because you're wearing 47 different hats all at one time, and the bookkeeping gets pushed off to the end. But again, it's so crucial to not just like the business, but then you're also paying taxes on this. But if you're not feeling 100% confident, ask for help. That would be my biggest takeaway, is just ask for help.
I love that. So how can people ask for help? How do they reach you?
How do they get help, Stephanie? Please tell
If they need help, oh my gosh, I would be more than happy to help anybody who needs it. You can find me on social. So I'm mostly on Instagram, so Harper Faye Financial. You can also visit our website, harperandfayfinancial.com. Yeah, you can schedule a free discovery call. We can go over your books, see where you're at, where you feel confident, where you feel you need improvement, all of that type of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a great conversation. I feel like full of great information for all med spa owners. So yeah, just thank you.
Yes, no, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it so much.